Welcome back to the reality, guys. I'm your host, Billy Blinks, joined as always by my co-host Brian
Go on, everybody.
and Brett
What's up?
with a nice pod background there. This is Love is
Hi.
Blind, season 5. This would be week 3, episodes 8 and 9. Check the playlist. We have covered each of the first 2 weeks, and we will be here next week for the finale week. Okay, guys. 8 and 9 was an interesting one. 8 and 9 led us up right until the weddings. We're all one day away at this point from the weddings. I would say the major set of events here I want to start with was the party from last week that continued and the arguments going on. Um, Almost kind of like two halves to this fight. So, first half, I would really say is Uchi, Lydia, Milton, right? Was Lydia a stalker? Was Uchi more of the gaslighter in this situation? I'm kind of thinking it's probably somewhere in the middle, right? The thing that started happening though was really the fact that Lydia wasn't okay with letting Milton and Uchi talk about it. I think Uchi was going on and on. I don't really think he cares about being a good friend. We're going to talk about Izzy a little bit later, but this is a very similar thing to me. This guy just doesn't look like he wants to. He's very conscious about how he's coming off, right? And like what he's like looking like. And he's very dead set in making sure that Lydia looks absolutely crazy, including saying and bringing up, and we'll talk about part 2 in a second, that she 100% knew he was going to come on and was talking with that with the pod squad. But Brett, what do you guys think the Uchi, Milton, Lydia stuff? I frankly am kind of like over it.
Oh, totally over it, man. It's just being dragged out. I really like that. Like the Pod Squad, Miriam was yelling at Uchi as well. She was like, "Yo, you're a loser. All you care about is the camera." And I kind of like that she said that because we needed like another person that wasn't involved in the situation, like Milton. I mean, Milton's not really. He's just kind of there, but like a bystander kind of commenting on like how he's coming across too. I just think that he keeps bringing up like, "Oh, she knew I was there. Like she wants me," and it's like, I, I don't know. I think I kind of am siding more with her in this argument,
Me too.
but I'd like to know what Brett thinks on this.
That was fun. I mean, we had I already forgot her name. You said what, Miriam? And
Miriam,
then
yes.
other girl. They both were screaming at Uche. They finally got their camera time. That's what they were looking for because that's what he told us that they were looking for was camera time. I'm not surprised they didn't match with somebody just the way they were speaking. I was like, that's not really wifey material. But also Uche was a total douche in the same at the same time. So
Yeah,
it
I
was
don't
fun.
know. I don't know if they were. I just think they just kind of like the same thing. They want to hear and like listening to this guy, and it seems like what we've come to find out with this show a lot is that like the pod squad people really do form like really good friendships. It seems like we go back to even the stuff
Mhm.
from the after the altar stuff that we just watched for last season, and it turns out there are these deep friendship and friend groups that form that we're not really highlighted. I think again would be better to highlight more of the pod people even outside and not just at these parties that are probably at night and they are. Listen, this show is like the liquored up show, right? Like there's a reason why they're always like keeping the stuff in the cups besides the time editing. Like they definitely booze these people up and they gas them up for these fights. That would be the second part, Brett, where it's the Johnny, Chris, Izzy, Stacy stuff. Um, Izzy again comes off as a guy that it's like, why are you so worried about like what Johnny told you versus what Johnny told Chris? What do you care? You turned her down. She said, "You're my number one. I want to be with you." And you went, "Nah." And then you're so worried about it that you're literally screaming with these chicks, like you're fighting with these girls that you weren't even dating, and you're yelling at them and fighting. They're yelling at you too, granted, but like the whole point is that like if you just never brought the damn thing up in the first place, let Chris listen. Do I think Chris is smart for getting back with Johnny? No, I think it's goofy. The girl, you were the obvious second choice, but at the end of the day, like, what do you care? Like, what do you
Yeah,
care,
I
dude? Like,
agree.
Well, is your face okay? Is your face okay, Bill? Are you sure? Are you sure?
why?
I don't know. That's what Stacy said to.
Oh, when the Ray were reacting.
Oh,
Oh,
I know
to
what I'm
Lucy.
saying.
Okay, all right. I was like, did that happen in that conversation?
I was like, did I
Um,
bang my head on something? I
I,
was like looking. It's like
yeah,
the black eye right now.
Stacy kind of interjected on Johnny. He's like, "Is your face okay? Are you sure?" And then that's when they started fighting. I was like,
I'd
oh.
say I again I like these mixers. I frankly wish they did more of the mixers almost like because it again I want to see these are the only people that understand what each other are going through, and I do like that they have to see people that they had dated at all. I mean, most of the time, I'm pretty sure they established in the early seasons they all live like in the same apartment building. I'm pretty sure like they move them all into the same places because they have the
oh, even
cameras.
if you don't make it.
No. I mean, just for the couples,
Oh
right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
like
yeah,
even
yeah.
then, like they already have like a social hub where they could just make people go there even. So I don't know. I thought overall though that fight really did set up where the rest of this episode goes, right? Because this week is usually the week where we get to meet families, we get to get the hard questions asked because frankly, they need to be asked.
I think
Milton's family in particular.
we're skipping something here. So, how wasted were they? Because once what Stacy and Izzy went back to their apartment, I was like, they're blackout, dude.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like this show is the liquored up show. Like
I think that's why all the cups are. They always have the same golden cups. Like you can't see what's in it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't notice when they were arguing and doing the drama and all that stuff. I was like, oh, this is fun. I like this. Like, I didn't think much of it, but the moment it was like Izzy and Stacy one on one in their apartment, I was like, they're fucking wasted, man. Like, so I'm not surprised what just happened.
yeah, these crazy arguments like happen. They didn't like really need it. Again, it's just like these old drum up feelings come up, right? You see somebody and it's just like whatever reason they have to like pick that bone, right? Um, but yeah, transition, like you said, that's a good point, Brett. Transitioning over to the families, though, I really want to talk about Milton's family. I want to talk about Milton's sister. I want to talk about Milton's mom. Milton's sister just being like, this is fake. Your answers are too good. Do you think that was fair or unfair?
Um, it was definitely a little unfair, but as someone who, if I was in that situation where I was meeting someone at the like someone on a dating show, I would call shenanigans too. So I think she did the like, did she do it the right way? Probably not. But I think having those concerns is incredibly valid.
What do you think, Brett? Do you think that her answers sounded too prepared, or do you think she was being genuine?
I think Milton's sister was being I think she was showboating for the TV. I don't really think she was that genuine.
Is it fair?
I don't know. I think Milton and Miss
Lydia?
Curly Lydia's her kind of yeah, they seemed pretty legit up until maybe the end of the episode, but I still think they're legit. And I think I like the whole family as a whole. I liked that family and I liked Izzy's, I guess, mom, right? So I
Yeah,
think both were good families, but like any potential like irritant type question they posed, I thought was just kind of like for show.
it's a very fair point. We've seen kind of both ways in this series, right? We've seen families, like you said, that are very open and they do kind of like perform to the camera a little. And we see some that look like they want nothing to do with being on camera, right? And they're just like, this thing is so unreal. Like, I don't need to be on camera. I don't need to do this. Like, and then some people, like you said, like the sister genuinely probably is like to her brother, like, I definitely didn't think you wanted to get married. And that's what she was kind of asking him. And he was kind of dodging. She's just like, well, what are you doing? Like, I saw you like a month ago. Like, you didn't talk about wanting to like get married or like have a girlfriend even. So like, what are you talking about? So I do like the idea of being like, you know what, if I do disagree with this, I am just kind of like, I'm getting on the trailer. You know what I mean? So I actually really don't shade them for it. And frankly, you get that on camera. If it doesn't work out, you get to be like, I told you, remember? Like, go look at episode 8. I told you this was gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
there's just too much historical reality TV situations like this that you should be skeptical of it.
I
And
agree.
I just, Brett, I know you said like she was yucking it up for the camera. I don't know if I agree with that because like if you because like I thought the mom like they were just her mom was also concerned, but she was like coming and I don't mean to like bring in parenthood here, but like as a she was coming in as a mom and I thought like oh everything she was saying was pretty valid and like hey I want to be happy but like I still need to look and make sure. And
I'm gonna
Izzy's
check your
mom said
price.
it too, but she just said it in a different way. She's like hey like I just want to make sure you guys are making the right decision. I want to make sure you're happy. I want to make sure he's happy and it's just like I think like
Get the
you
sibling vibe.
yeah,
For sure.
you almost just like when you I don't know.
It's funny. I saw a lot of like how like my wife interacts with her brother. Like she has a younger, I don't even know if she's younger or older than him. But like I saw that same type of thing. Like it was very blunt and direct, and like you said, maybe a little bit more.
I mean, it's tough love. You gotta give them
Tough
tough
love's the
love.
perfect way to
Like
put it.
I don't know. I would do the same thing. If my sisters came, like both my sisters are married or will be married, but if they came home with a situation like this, you best believe I'd act like that sister. Be grilling them.
I think
Let
in
me
my
ask you a real question here. How much debt do you think Izzy actually is in?
Probably not that much.
I don't think it's probably that much, right? He doesn't come off a guy that seems like he's dead broke, right? Like, I don't know. Brett, what do you think? Do you think Izzy is a con artist broke, or do you think it's just like something in his past and maybe he's got like a bad credit score or something?
I would say it's probably a bad credit score. I mean, unless he's a liar, because he basically said that at some point in his past he was behind $3,500 and then got a bad credit score. So he may or may not be paid off now. If he is or isn't, 3,500 is not that much, and that still could wreck his credit score. Um, my dad still got a wrecked credit score from 20 years ago, so it's it's feasible.
And the fact that we didn't even see that conversation, like we just kind of were like thrown into it, I just was like,
Dude, this show does that sometimes where I literally was like, what, did I just miss
yeah,
something? Like I looked at my phone, I'm like, maybe I was looking at my phone for 2 minutes. How did I miss like a mega fight? And I like rewound. I'm like, oh no, they're doing this thing where we're gonna find out now through this forced conversation, the fight you had last night somehow that should be on camera because everything's on camera, but somehow we don't get to see that fight. Uh Look,
that's why
I
I think it's not a big
agree.
deal.
They're like a day away from the wedding or so, and like the guy hasn't been being fully truthful about his financials. This is the one part of the show where I like adamantly am like, no, this is different than if you were in a normal marriage. I am not showing anybody all my stuff until we're actually married. I'm sorry. I know we're engaged, whatever. I don't know you. Like, I still don't know you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Like, I may still keep separate accounts for a while, frankly. Like, there's no reason to just like, I don't, I, my, you know, like, your wife, whatever, anyone has, you have debt, your wife has debt, whatever, but like you actively date someone for over a period of time, you make that decision that you're okay with that, right? Like that you're willing to take that on. And that's
it
a lot
almost
to
should.
ask.
Yeah, it almost should be like a requirement. And then I think like some of the other comments in our past videos, it's like if you're gonna come on the show, if you're in crazy debt, you shouldn't be on the show.
They should do a background check on you.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, I feel like they do that for shows like the 90 Day Fiancés, like those Married at First Sights. A lot of I know that part of it is like an extensive background check. I'm sure they're not going to send somebody to someone's house and have to get like foreclosed on. Like
Well,
yeah.
I
that's my
think
opinion.
last week we said that they should discuss finances, right? And then somebody that I called out on that last week, they basically said they did do that. It might have been Izzy and Stacy, but
They
what if
did mention
like
them
is a
talking about
prenup?
finances, but he apparently just kind of blew past whenever she like mentioned like credit cards. He kind of gave like a throwaway answer and then let the conversation like move on. Is the vibe I
Maybe
got.
in this instance with a TV show, a prenup should be like pre-engaged. Like it's just like
The
an automatic thing.
requirement basically.
Yeah, so someone can't just like scam their way into like a TV marriage and then like dump their debt on somebody.
A Netflix prenup. I like that with a little Netflix logo, a little Love Is Blind like letterhead and
Or in
shit.
general, or in general, normal prenup.
I'm saying I like that. Like I like the idea of that. You have to have certain base income, base employment, you work a certain amount of weeks, you have a certain amount of friends, so I know that you're just not some weirdo who's never gonna like leave my side and not have anything else to do. Like
Let's normalize prenups. Let's just like put that in place for every person, no matter the circumstance. They just make like a little secret prenup first 2 or 3 years in the marriage. If you dip, SOL.
you are SOL. um we're getting down to it, guys. Like we are this next week, the last week, Brian.
I think so. That's what I was gonna say. Maybe we should. I mean, do we need to talk about the Lydia and Milton conversation at the end, or should
I
we
don't.
go to
I
picks
don't know. Outside of the fact that like she's upset that he leaves clothes on the floor and that he
and eats
doesn't
in
clean
bed?
up after himself, and he doesn't like that she picks fights. Basically, is the long and short of it. Like they kept talking about the stuff at the restaurant where he's like, yeah, if one of my exes did something I didn't like and I was there, I would just walk away. But you chose that you got to like try to win some fight. Where he's like, why? And now look, I know there's a middle ground, right? If it's not true, if Uche is somehow making all of this shit up, right? And like she didn't do any of the things he's claiming, then like, yeah, you know what? If I'm her, you're like, F you, dude. I'm gonna tell you like that you're full of crap. And she did kind of make that kind of comment at the end where she's like, yeah, and I don't like being told like I'm a stalker and like I'm a crazy person and all like in public in front of people. Like I don't like that. So I am gonna say something. So like she's not wrong there, but like it's just tough because there's such element. There's got to be some
it's
element.
tough because we don't know the story. That's the problem. Like,
yeah, we're trying to extrapolate based off.
Yeah,
of
we need that
minutes.
third side that is like more or less the truth. And that's kind of why I liked what Miriam said, where she was like, this is somebody we didn't even know that had any contact. And she talked to him maybe a little bit and is like, yo, this guy is a loser. Like, I want to hear other people's opinions. And if all these people have these opinions about him, it strengthens my case that I'm gonna be on Lydia's side a little more, like until I get more evidence.
I agree. And I think that's the type of stuff which is good about this series is we'll get a reunion and then we'll get it after the altar. So that gives us a nice span of time to really have the shoot.
Yeah, see what's really popping.
Basically.
Let's
Anything else you guys want to touch on?
Let's 3? Make picks.
Oh yeah, let's do the picks. All right. So Lydia and Milton. I'm gonna say they're gonna do it. Let's say yes.
I'm gonna say no.
Nice. Right. Tiebreaker.
I think both couples are going to do it.
Okay, so that's a yes. So then let's move over to couple number 2. Who am I?
Izzy and Stacy. I say no again.
Captain America.
I think they. Oh my God.
I say no again.
I think no on them. I think this finance thing has got her. She's the no. He's not going to say no. I think she is spooked AF that he is full of crap, basically.
Yeah.
I think Stacy's the most least. She's the most likely to say no of all 4 people. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, because when they just played back the like sometimes you need to. What the dad said, like sometimes you got to eat, sometimes you got to get first class, sometimes loved ones first class, and I was like, she's saying no, like and especially with that money situation coming up.
Yeah. So did we talk about her job? What is she? Is she like she works at Orange Theory Fitness or something like, or she owns her own business? What's going on there?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I think
I don't look anything up.
It says she's an ops manager, so that may be like a second job. I think she's like an instructor. So it's like some form of like looked like some form of like Pilates.
She's a Pilates instructor, therefore she operates a gym, therefore she's an operations manager. Got it.
But why wouldn't she just say if I mean again, I don't know if that's her only job, but if she did own that gym, I don't know why she wouldn't just say she was a gym owner, which makes me feel like maybe that's the only reason why I was thinking it was like a side gig. But again, maybe it's like a chain or something, right? Like a kind of like a franchise type place she works for. Maybe she works in operations.
They didn't show the name of the gym. I tried to find out what it was off the episode. I didn't see it. So
which is interesting because they definitely let product placement in the show. Like there's like liquor bottles and certain things that they let appear randomly. There's like a Modelo bottle. There was a few other things I noticed this episode where I'm like, well, they definitely noticed this. So it's like, does Netflix have some kind of part? I'm curious, like where that like the line's drawn there, right? Because you're right. Why wouldn't they be able to show a gym name? Sure, a gym owner would want the business name out there on a Netflix show.
If you know, comment below.
Yeah, let us know. Someone probably knows. Someone goes to that gym probably.
We also have one last prediction. So what happens with Johnny and the other guy?
Chris. I actually saw on Instagram or something that they're not together. Like
I was gonna go with a who cares?
Yeah.
Because she like just bland personality wise to me. She had such a crazy story, and I've never seen someone so unenthused about such a crazy story that's happened to them.
I think it was a tweet. I don't remember where I saw it, but I think that she's with somebody else. But I could be wrong.
From the pods?
No, I didn't. Oh no, Chris is with somebody else. I'm sorry, Chris is with somebody else, not her. So that in theory means that they're not together. I looked at the girl's face, like in front of like you can kind of see it. It didn't look like Johnny, but maybe I'm wrong. But it's all in the late night, whatever. And like Bill said, I don't really care.
This reunion should be interesting. I especially because we can see something like we've had this season kind of got hijacked by 2 couples being done so early. You know what I mean? It's like, what do we even do?
Yeah, I'm interested to see like what the JP and Taylor like where they're at, and then what was the I don't even remember what the other couple is.
Well, it was Uche, and what's her name?
Uche and
Leah.
Leah. Yeah, I mean, I want to know the truth.
The
Yeah.
truth will set us free.
Yeah.
And we need
Well, everyone this episode called Uche a narcissist, which is what I've been saying since like.
Yeah, I think we all agreed on that
I
week one.
completely agree with it.
Yeah, I think we all were like pro, like this guy, like because God, like I said, he's the type of guy you could tell won't be ready for a real relationship because he couldn't take an apology. But he had to like take the apology and then curb stomp her with more. And like, well, you're not ready to be in a relationship if you can't just like take an apology.
I believe that. Yeah, I believe that for Aaliyah, like the whole thing was just way too much, like with the Lydia drama and all that crap. So they're definitely probably not going to be end up together. I don't blame her. Uche, I'm curious to see where he's at if he comes back for the reunion. And I definitely do want to see JP and Taylor and see kind of like if they come back and like what they have to say at this point as to why they kind of like were a.
God, I would love to see him try to unexplain what his crap because
Yeah, Vanessa's gonna snipe him from the distance. Uche will be on Perfect Match, I think.
Uche would be a good perfect match, I think. Actually,
I don't know, man. He just bugs me. I don't like the way he talks to people.
He's just good. Yeah, that's why it'll be good for the show.
Yeah,
because
he joined those two girls he called out for seeking camera fame when they only
yeah, that'd be great for them to like.
He should have Spider-Maned himself when he did that because that's him.
Yeah, literally, like, dude, you're talking. You don't even have a partner.
You
like,
keep talking so much about the same thing, and it's like, dude, let it go. It's the same thing as Izzy. You like let it go, dude.
Can we please just like watch you guys date?
Uche, he basically connected with Aaliyah in the first week on things that he like used to do that doesn't do anymore. So like maybe he was the whole time he was just like, oh, she said something that I can like maybe talk about, and then he just like brought that crap back into his life so he could like have a connection and be on TV.
Let us know your thoughts, guys. There's a lot up in the air here. This is probably one of the least predictable seasons, obviously, we've ever had. And going into next week, I'm going to be interested how they kind of stretch out this final decision. Like I said, subscribe here, subscribe on TikTok. We're doing things like 60-second reviews from Brian. Brett's been doing a lot of different clips, Big Brother stuff, buddy games things. Look out for Brett's interview as well. What was the guy's name, Brett?
We got Huddy Buddy OK.
Huddy Buddy OK interview, Brett's first solo reality guys interview. So look out for that. That'll be out this weekend. We'll also have reviews of Southern Charm. We have reviews this week of Bachelor in Paradise, The Golden Bachelor, The Amazing Race, Survivor. What else am I forgetting? Is that it? I think that's it.
I mean, if the other one would be if Brett does Big Brother.
Oh yeah, Big Brother, and also the buddy game stuff like I had mentioned before, actual reviews from Brett. Yeah, check us out on Instagram and Twitter as well, and you will not miss any of our content. But until next time, for myself, Brian, and Brett, thank you. Peace.